You shout out Soda TV too?
Show TV shout out.
Okay.
Soda TV.
Soda TV, what up?
Okay.
Soda TV. Shout out.
Welcome to Soda TV.
What's your name? Whatever it is.
Soda TV. It's Soda TV.
Durk could be linked to a second murder for hire plot, this time in Chicago. These are images of the guy who shot and killed Stefan Mack in 2022. Prosecutors say Mack was outside the Youth Peace Center of Roseland when he was gunned down. The FBI linked the two men charged with Mack's murder to Durk using texts and confidential informants.
Welcome back to Soda TV. You know, this story is deep rooted in the unaliving of a guy by the name of Dante Banks, aka D-Thing, which happens to be rapper Lil Durk's brother, right? He was outside of a strip club in Harvey, Illinois on June 6, 2021 at 12:20 a.m. Right. This event hit Durk so deep and so hard that what he did in response to this may cost him his whole life. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we're getting into today. Before we do, I got to kindly ask you to please hit that like button. It don't cost you a Japanese quarter to do that. Share this if you can, when you can, with whoever you can, right? That's all love and appreciated from the heart. If you want to wait to see if I earn your subscription, you can, but I'd rather you do it now. But if you forget to subscribe, I'll remind you at the end. Last but not least, notification bell, keep you notified on any and everything I post. So that unfortunate event that we just talked about of his Durk's brother losing his life hurt Durk's heart so much that it led him to put out a alleged bounty on anybody that is responsible, associated with anything that has something to do with his brother. You know what I'm saying? It was an emotional response, you know, and a lot of people would have did that, you know what I'm saying, if they had the money. So Durk ended up learning of a guy by the name of Stefan Mack, who police have listed as a with a G at the beginning, leader. I believe the faction that he was allegedly supposed to lead is like the GDs. Don't mark me on that. But so with Durk having this information and having the money, now what does he have to do? All you got to do is get the people to do it now, right? Two people end up answering this call and wanting to take up this, right? A dude by the name of Marley and a guy by the name of AJ. Now, AJ, I believe this dude, some people are saying this dude, AJ, is OTF. And some people say he's from another set, but it's a lot of people that consider themselves OTF, but they are literally from a whole nother set. You know what I'm saying? It's for many different reasons, right? Okay, so Marley and AJ answer the call. Not literally a call, but they want to take up this HIT, this hit, right? So they have to now learn about Stefan Mack's whereabouts. They get whiff that, of course, Stefan Mack has just been released from prison not too long ago. So in Chicago, a lot of times they have those guys do program releases after like be a youth center, resource centers, kind of like what you would think of community service type things, right? Some of it is it's mandatory. You feel me? Wouldn't nobody with status be nowhere in the public if they didn't have to, right? So it was mandatory for him to be at this youth center. They learned, AJ and Marley learned that he's at a youth center, and as the paperwork says, even 3 to 4 of the workers there were in on this too. So when you got inside people, now you can twist things a certain way. They turned the blind eye to the hit. That's what part they played, and whatever else part they may have played. When you got insiders, you know how people do when they on the inside. But Marley and AJ go to do it. They knock it out. They get it done, right? To whereas AJ is the main one seen on video getting down on Stefan Mack. Why Marley is blowing another way. I think it was more of a, I don't know if it was a distraction or it was to shield somebody off, but you know what you have, you know how I go when you're on the drill and it's, things got to be done just to clear it. But they try to make their way back to the car and something goes wrong. And I think most of this is on footage. Something goes wrong to the point to where they're unable to get in the car. Another YouTuber said that they locked themselves out of the car, which I don't never see how hitters, whether you smart or dumb, I don't see how you can lock your keys in the car, but they couldn't get in there. So they both started running separate directions. And I think I remember seeing and hearing the video footage of the dude y'all ever heard the footage and you hear a dude yelling, Marley, Marley. That's when they ran separate directions and allegedly AJ was trying to get Marley's attention, right? But anyway, since they couldn't get in the vehicle, you can imagine some of their belongings was left in the vehicle. And this consisted of none other than AJ's phone. Man, y'all gotta keep up with me on this one, man. So for right now in the story, they got away. So now that the feds have the phone, or if it's just the regular police at this time, I don't know if by this time the feds have picked it up, so don't quote me on that. So they have AJ's phone to whereas Marley is frantically trying to, get a hold of AJ, and 12 see this. They see all the texts of Marley frantically, AJ, you okay? You get away? You get away? I got away. You there? You there? You there? Y'all can just imagine what you would be texting your friend if y'all went to go do a hit. So they got the phone, they're monitoring the texts and calls, and no arrests, right? I don't know if they didn't make no arrests because they were doing what they are doing now, waiting it out to let it build up. Because of course, if you go in and even do as much as bring a person in for questioning, it lets people antennas up, and a person may stop talking on the phone altogether, and they may disappear. So they made no arrests at this time. As time went on, this guy AJ ended up getting arrested for a possession of a motor vehicle, right? Stolen motor vehicle, right? So he's in the IDOC. At this time, 12 don't have nothing but the footage of what happened, the phone, and the texts and conversations. But clearly, obviously, this ain't enough, right? Maybe they need more confirmation of this or whatever, right? So what other way to get confirmation than to have a confidential informant? By AJ being an IDOC, they devised a plan to put a CI in there with him, confidential informant. Now, you would think, oh man, this is a hardened iller with a K at the beginning. No iller with a K at the beginning is going to just voluntarily, I think that, give up information for nothing. And if they did it too, you can forget it. They ain't finna talk about that stuff. They already knowing this in their head before they go do the hit, right? You would think. Man, they put that confidential informant in there, and within due time, AJ lays out the whole thing from A to Z, meaning why Durk was mad, what he wanted done, how he wanted it done, what Lil Durk was paying, how much they collected. You see what I'm saying? Like, and to me, on the outside looking in, this makes more of the case than anything, right? Because clearly y'all didn't have enough for an arrest and still haven't brought indicted Durk on it yet. You know, even though I think really, really soon something is gonna happen. But yeah, man, I think that wire, and I forgot to tell you, there are more informants, but the information that they have is not hearsay, but stuff that they either heard that Durk told them. You know what I'm saying? Whatever Durk was saying to them. And obviously some of them wore wires, so I hope Durk didn't give, I doubt Durk gave real graphic inner detail, but who knows, man? Psh, dang, Durk, another one? Do y'all even think Durk gonna beat the one he on now? Let alone this one? You feel me? Because how they do it now is he in there, so they know he in there. They ain't in no rush to hit him with this indictment. But if it start looking like Durk gonna win, or I think they, honestly, I don't got no bad wishes for Durk, but I think they finna introduce this. Y'all saw the news clip that I posted at the beginning. You know, they start putting stuff out there like that. The feds start letting you know little itty bitty pieces when they about to make that slam. You feel me? You see, we got little bitty pieces of what they got on Durk, but we don't really know nothing of what they have on Durk, to the point to where some people just saying, you know, all they have is the cards that's attached to OTF, and Durk saying, don't put my name in nothing, or don't put nothing in my name. No, that's because that's all we are privy to. That's all they made available to us. You know? But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comment section. Along with that, please hit that like button, share this. We talked about you subscribing to the channel if I earned it, and I think I did a pretty good job. You know, a lot of research. You know, last but not least, notification bell. Keep you notified on any and everything this channel puts out. This is the self-proclaimed #1 celebrity news channel on YouTube at this time, The Real Soda TV. I'm out.